Well, here we were, the mighty Keth'mori hunting fleet, drifting through the void like death incarnate, approaching that little blue marble the locals called Earth. Commander Vel'tash stood at the bridge viewport, his forearms crossed with the kind of smug satisfaction only an apex predator could muster. His mandibles clicked in anticipation, a sound that had terrified countless species across 17 star systems. Sub-Commander Crick's status report. Vel'tash commanded, his voice carrying that delicious authority that made lesser beings tremble. Sir, we are approaching the third planet of this pathetic solar system. Our scouts confirm the presence of the bipedal mammals called humans. Primitive, weak. Perfect for sport hunting? Crix replied, his own excitement barely contained behind professional duty. Oh, how wrong we were. But let me tell you about our glorious fleet first, because honestly, we were impressive. 12 battlecruisers, each one a masterpiece of Keth'mori engineering. Our ships could slice through asteroid fields like hot plasma through tissue paper, cloaking technology that made us invisible to their crude radar systems, weapons that could level entire cities with a single blast. Vel'tash activated the holographic display, showing Earth in all its vulnerable glory. Look at this backwater world, my hunters. No orbital defenses. No energy shields, no plasma cannons. These creatures haven't even achieved proper space flight yet. They're still using chemical rockets like cavemen with fire sticks. The bridge erupted in what we called laughter, a series of chittering sounds that would have made human children wet themselves. Hunter Captain Jake Morrison, our weapons specialist, was practically vibrating with excitement. Commander, our thermal scanners indicate they're still fighting with projectile weapons. Metal bullets, if you can believe it, against our energy barriers. They might as well be throwing pebbles. Exactly, Vel'tash nodded, his compound eyes gleaming with predatory joy. The High Council approved this hunt because they wanted us to have some relaxation after the Rigel campaign. After 6 months of battling those armored crystalloids, we deserve some easy prey. Navigation Officer Keth'mori pulled up tactical displays showing major human population centers. Sir, preliminary scans show approximately 8 billion potential targets. They cluster in these structures they call cities, convenient hunting grounds, if you ask me. I should mention our weapons loadout because it was genuinely terrifying. Plasma rifles that could melt through steel like butter, gravity hammers that could crush bones to powder, neural disruptors that scrambled nervous systems, personal energy shields that deflected any primitive projectile weapon. Each hunter wore bio-armor that enhanced strength, speed, and reflexes to superhuman levels. Deploy the hunting pods, Vel'tash ordered, his voice dripping with anticipation. Standard formation. We'll start with isolated settlements, work our way up to the larger population centers. Remember, this is sport hunting, not extermination. We want them to run, to hide, to provide entertainment. The fleet moved with practiced precision toward Earth's atmosphere. Our stealth technology rendered us completely invisible to their primitive detection systems. Not a single human knew death was descending from the stars like a cosmic joke. Sir, should we monitor their communication networks? Asked Intelligence Officer Plex Tai. Why bother? Vel'tash laughed, that chittering sound echoing through the bridge. What could these primitives possibly say that would interest us? Their technology is thousands of years behind ours. They're probably still arguing about territory and resources like wild animals. How magnificently, spectacularly wrong we were. Our atmospheric entry was flawless. The hunting pods dispersed across the planet like seeds of destruction, each one containing a full squad of elite Keth'mori warriors. We had hunted across the galaxy, from the crystal caves of Zirion to the methane swamps of Gulnir. Every species had fallen before our superior technology and hunting prowess. Remember? Vel'tash transmitted to all hunting teams, these humans are soft, slow, and stupid. They have no natural weapons, no armor, no enhanced senses. They're basically hairless primates with delusions of intelligence. Make it sporting, but don't let them suffer unnecessarily. We are hunters. not sadists. The first pods touched down in what their maps called rural areas, small settlements, perfect for initial assessment of human capabilities. We expected to find cowering primitives, maybe some crude weapons, certainly nothing that could threaten a superior species like ourselves. Sub-Commander Crix's voice crackled through the communication system as his pod landed in some backwater human settlement. Landing successful, Commander. Beginning preliminary reconnaissance. The humans appear to be well human. Bipedal, soft-skinned, probably tasty. This should be over quickly. Excellent, Vel'tash replied, settling into his command chair with the satisfaction of a predator who had found the perfect hunting ground. Begin the hunt. And remember, save some for the rest of us. Oh, if only we had known what we were walking into. Sub-Commander Crix's hunting pod touched down in what the human signs called Millbrook, population 3,847. Perfect. A small, manageable population for our first taste of human sport. The town looked exactly like we expected from our orbital scans, primitive structures, crude transportation devices they called automobiles, and absolutely no defensive capabilities whatsoever. This will be like hunting infant prey beasts, Crix transmitted to his squad. Spread out, standard intimidation formation. Let's see how these humans react to superior predators. The first human we encountered was some sort of local authority figure, based on the metal badge and the primitive projectile weapon holstered at his side. He wore what appeared to be a uniform, though it looked more like fabric than proper armor. The nameplate read Morrison, Sheriff. How quaint, they had organized their primitive society with designated peacekeepers. Sheriff Jake Morrison was approximately 1.8 meters tall, standard human build, probably in his 4th decade of life. Nothing impressive about him whatsoever. Brown hair, brown eyes, the kind of unremarkable specimen you'd expect from a backwater species. He was standing next to one of their crude transportation devices, apparently conducting some mundane patrol activity. Greetings, primitive creature, Crix announced in perfect English, our translation matrices having decoded their simple language patterns. I am Sub-Commander Crix of the Keth'mori hunting fleet. You and your settlement have been selected for sport hunting. Prepare to run for your miserable lives. The human looked up from his device, studied Crix's imposing 4-armed form, the plasma weapons, the bioarmor, the obvious technological superiority. Any rational being would have screamed, fled, or at least shown proper fear. Instead, Sheriff Morrison sighed, reached for his communication device and said, "Dispatch, this is Unit 7. We've got a code. I don't think we have a code for this. Hostile alien contact at Main and Elm, requesting backup, and maybe someone who speaks whatever this thing is speaking." Crix was genuinely confused. Did you not comprehend my announcement, human? I declared your doom. This is the part where you experience terror. Morrison finished his transmission, then actually stepped closer to examine Crix. Son, I've been sheriff in this town for 23 years. I've dealt with drunk truckers, meth labs, domestic disputes, and 3 different cult groups. You're definitely new, but you're not the weirdest thing I've seen this month. That was our first hint that something was terribly wrong. The sheriff was studying Crix's weapons with the kind of professional interest that made our sub-commander uncomfortable. That's some fancy gear you got there. Military contractor? Movie production? Because if you're filming some science fiction thing, you need permits, and you definitely can't be wandering around town with realistic weapons. These are not replicas, human. This is a plasma rifle capable of melting through your primitive steel. Crix raised his weapon menacingly. Morrison's hand moved to his sidearm with practiced ease. Sir, I'm going to need you to lower that weapon immediately. I don't care if it's a prop, a toy, or a genuine alien death ray. You're pointing it at a law enforcement officer, and that's assault with a deadly weapon. The absurdity of the situation struck us all. Here was a primitive human, armed with nothing but a chemical projectile weapon, calmly asserting authority over a superior alien warrior. Crix decided to demonstrate the vast technological gap between our species. But observe, foolish human, the power of advanced technology. Crix fired his plasma rifle at a nearby automobile, expecting it to vaporize impressively. The car exploded spectacularly, all right. But instead of cowering in terror, Sheriff Morrison dove for cover behind another vehicle, drew his weapon and started shooting back. His primitive bullets bounced harmlessly off Crix's energy shields, but the human's tactical response was unexpectedly competent. All units, shots fired at main and elm, unknown hostile with military-grade weaponry, requesting immediate backup. Morrison's voice carried the calm professionalism of someone who had dealt with dangerous situations before. Within minutes, more humans arrived. Not just other law enforcement, but civilians carrying various weapons. Hunting rifles, shotguns, even improvised weapons. They didn't charge blindly into battle like primitive savages. Instead, they established a perimeter, took cover, and began coordinating their response with tactical precision that impressed even our military-trained minds. "Sir," Hunter Yaxtal reported nervously, "the humans are not behaving according to our psychological profiles. They show no signs of primal fear or flight response. They're organizing." That was when Jake Morrison did something that would haunt Crix's nightmares for cycles to come. The sheriff produced a small device, pointed it at our hunting party, and suddenly every electronic system in their vicinity went haywire. Communication links scrambled. Weapon targeting systems malfunctioned. Even their bio-armor started glitching. EMP grenade, Morrison explained calmly to his backup. Military surplus. Figured if these are some kind of high-tech terrorists, electromagnetic pulse might give us an advantage. An EMP grenade. These supposedly primitive humans had electromagnetic pulse weapons as standard law enforcement equipment. Our intelligence reports never mentioned this. The humans pressed their advantage immediately. While our systems rebooted, they surrounded our hunting party with coordinated precision. Civilian vehicles blocked escape routes. Humans with various weapons established overlapping fields of fire. Someone had even improvised barriers using agricultural equipment. "This is Sheriff Morrison," came the announcement through their primitive but effective communication system. "Unknown hostiles are contained at Main and Elm. We need hazmat teams, military liaisons, and probably someone from the CDC. Also, somebody call the mayor and tell him our insurance premiums just went up." Hunter Zek Nom's voice crackled through our slowly recovering communication system. "Sub-Commander, these humans are not behaving like prey animals. They're behaving like soldiers." Indeed, they were. And that was just the beginning of our education. The situation deteriorated rapidly from there. Within 6 hours of our landing, the humans had done something we thought impossible. They had mobilized a coordinated military response. Not just local law enforcement, but actual military forces with heavy equipment, air support, and leadership that clearly understood modern warfare. Colonel Nina Reeves arrived at the Millbrook containment zone like a storm front moving in. She was a compact human female, probably in her 5th decade, with steel-gray hair and eyes that seemed to analyze everything with uncomfortable intensity. Her uniform bore insignia that our cultural databases identified as belonging to something called the United States Army Rangers. "Sheriff Morrison, status report," she commanded with the kind of authority that made even our warriors take notice. "We've got 12 hostiles contained in the town center," Morrison replied. "Unknown technology, but they're not invincible. EMP weapons disrupt their systems, and their energy shields don't stop indirect attacks like fragmentation or concussion waves." 12 hostiles. They had reduced our elite hunting party to mere hostiles. The casual efficiency of their assessment was unsettling. Colonel Reeves studied the situation with tactical precision that would have impressed our military academies. What about their weapons capabilities? Plasma-based energy weapons, effective range approximately 300 meters, capable of destroying unarmored vehicles, Morrison answered. But they seem to have targeting difficulties when their electronic systems are disrupted. This human sheriff had conducted a complete tactical analysis of our capabilities in less than 6 hours. Our psychological profiles suggested humans were emotional, impulsive creatures who relied on instinct rather than systematic thinking. Clearly, our intelligence was catastrophically wrong. Outstanding work, Sheriff. We'll take it from here, Reeves said, then activated her communication device. Command, this is Reeves. Confirm hostile contact with unknown advanced technology. Requesting immediate deployment of the 82nd Airborne and Electronic Warfare Specialists. Also, get me every engineer and physicist we have. These aliens just gave us the greatest reverse engineering opportunity in human history. Reverse engineering opportunity. The humans weren't just defending themselves, they were planning to steal our technology. Within hours, the human military response escalated beyond anything we had anticipated. Helicopters circled overhead, maintaining constant surveillance. Ground forces established multiple perimeters with overlapping fields of fire. The electronic warfare specialists jammed our communication frequencies while somehow maintaining their own coordinated command structure. But the truly disturbing development was how quickly they began adapting our technology. Sub-Commander Crix reported that humans were examining damaged plasma weapons with the kind of analytical intensity usually reserved for advanced species. They weren't just curious, they were systematically reverse engineering our equipment. Sir, came a panicked transmission from Hunter Keth'mori. The humans have somehow activated one of our communication devices. They're listening to our tactical frequencies. Impossible, Crix replied. Our technology is quantum encrypted with bio-neural interfaces. No primitive species could possibly. Hello there, alien friends, came a cheerful human voice over our supposedly secure communication network. This is Staff Sergeant Mike Torres, U.S. Army Signal Corps. Just wanted to let you know we've cracked your encryption. Nice work on the quantum entanglement protocols, by the way. We're going to have fun studying those. The psychological impact was immediate and devastating. Our hunters, who had terrorized species across 17 star systems, were experiencing something they had never felt before, genuine fear. Not the excitement of dangerous prey, but the cold realization that they were no longer the apex predators. Colonel Reeves implemented psychological warfare tactics that would have impressed the most devious Keth'mori military strategists. Human soldiers began broadcasting our own hunting calls back at us through captured communication devices. They played recordings of our warriors' panic-stricken transmissions. They even began using our own language to deliver taunts and tactical misinformation. Attention Keth'mori hunters, came an announcement in perfect Keth'mori dialect. This is Colonel Nina Reeves, United States Army. You came to our planet looking for sport. Congratulations, you found it. The hunt is now officially open, and you're the prey. The humans had turned our own psychological warfare techniques against us with devastating effectiveness. Our hunters were reporting decreased morale, tactical confusion, and something our species had never experienced, the prey successfully intimidating the predators. But the most disturbing development was the speed of their technological adaptation. Within 12 hours, human engineers had not only reverse-engineered our plasma weapons, but had begun manufacturing improved versions. Their modifications actually enhanced the weapon's effectiveness while reducing power consumption. Sir, reported Chief Engineer Tolaxis from the command ship, the humans have somehow integrated our plasma technology with their own electromagnetic pulse systems. They're creating hybrid weapons that can penetrate our energy shields. How is that possible? Vel'tash demanded. Our technology is based on millennia of advanced development. These creatures shouldn't be able to understand basic energy manipulation, let alone improve upon our designs. I don't know, sir, but they're doing it anyway. They're also sharing the information instantaneously across their entire communication network. Every human military unit now has access to our technological specifications. The strategic implications were staggering. While we had been preparing for a simple hunting expedition, the humans had effectively declared total war and were winning through superior adaptation, coordination, and what they apparently called human ingenuity. Colonel Reeves established a command center that functioned with efficiency that rivaled our own military operations. She coordinated responses across multiple time zones, integrated civilian and military resources, and maintained constant communication with what appeared to be a global network of human military commanders. "This is fascinating," she announced during one of her briefings that our intercepted communications allowed us to monitor. "These aliens have technology we can only dream of, but they're using it like amateurs. No tactical flexibility, no adaptation to changing conditions, no creative problem-solving. They're advanced, but they're not innovative." The humans had identified our fundamental weakness. We were technologically superior but intellectually rigid. We had conquered species through overwhelming technological advantage, but we had never faced opponents who could adapt, improvise, and innovate faster than we could respond. Hunter Captain Jake Morrison's voice carried genuine panic as he reported from the field, "Sir, the humans are not just defending anymore. They're hunting us. They're setting traps, conducting ambushes, and using our own tactics against us with modifications we never considered." The hunt had indeed become the hunted, and we were losing. If we thought the military response was terrifying, the civilian response was absolutely nightmare-inducing. Within 24 hours of first contact, the humans had mobilized their entire planet's intellectual resources against us. Not just soldiers, but scientists, engineers, mechanics, and apparently every human with even basic technical knowledge. Dr. Elena Vasquez arrived at the Millbrook Research Facility with the kind of enthusiasm that made our intelligence officers physically uncomfortable. She was a quantum physicist from something called MIT, approached our technology like a child with new toys. Dangerous, incredibly intelligent toys that could reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. "This is absolutely magnificent," she announced while examining a captured plasma rifle. "The energy matrix is based on controlled fusion containment, but they've solved the magnetic bottle problem using what appears to be crystallized dark matter. The applications are endless." Crystallized dark matter. She had identified the fundamental principle behind our most advanced technology after 6 hours of examination. Our own scientists had required decades to develop that breakthrough. "Colonel, if we can reverse engineer this containment system, we could revolutionize everything. Power generation, space travel, weapons technology, even medical applications. This is the biggest technological leap in human history." Colonel Reeves nodded grimly. "Doctor, you have unlimited resources and complete government backing. Whatever you need, you get. Consider this project Prometheus with extreme prejudice." Meanwhile, in garages and workshops across the planet, human civilians were creating weapons that defied every tactical manual in our military archives. Tommy Chen, a mechanical engineer who apparently repaired automobiles for a living, had converted his workshop into a weapons factory that would have impressed our finest military contractors. "See, the thing about these alien energy shields," Tommy explained to his assembled neighbors while wielding what appeared to be a modified human construction tool. "They deflect direct energy attacks and projectiles. But they don't stop sound waves, electromagnetic interference, or good old-fashioned mechanical disruption." He demonstrated by activating a device that looked like it had been assembled from spare parts and determination. The resulting sonic pulse disabled every piece of Keth'mori technology within 50 meters. "Ultrasonic disruptor," he announced proudly. "Built it using car speakers, microwave transformers, and about $30 worth of electronic components. Takes out their shields, scrambles their targeting systems, and apparently gives them really bad headaches." $30. A human civilian had neutralized millions of credits worth of advanced military technology using materials that cost $30. The global coordination was perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the human response. Using our own captured communication systems, they had established a planetary network that shared information instantaneously across every continent. Military commanders in North America coordinated with scientists in Europe, who shared data with engineers in Asia, who collaborated with strategists in Australia. "Beijing base, this is Pentagon Command," came a transmission we intercepted. "We've confirmed that the alien bioarmor has a vulnerability to electromagnetic pulse combined with specific sound frequencies. Transmitting technical specifications now. Pentagon Command, this is Beijing Base, we copy. Our technical teams have developed improvements to your sonic disruptor design, transmitting modifications for enhanced effectiveness. They were sharing our technological secrets faster than we could develop countermeasures. Every breakthrough, every weakness they identified, every tactical advantage was immediately available to every human military unit on the planet. Dr. Vasquez's team achieved something that terrified our command structure. They successfully reverse-engineered and improved our faster-than-light communication system. Suddenly, humans could coordinate their global response with real-time efficiency that exceeded our own capabilities. This is incredible, Vasquez announced during a broadcast that reached every human military unit simultaneously. Not only have we cracked their quantum entanglement communication, but we've figured out how to amplify the signal strength and extend the range. We now have instantaneous communication anywhere in the solar system. Sub-Commander Crix's final transmission was perhaps the most chilling assessment of human capabilities, sir. The humans have not just adapted our technology. They've weaponized their entire civilization. Every human settlement now has access to weapons that can neutralize our equipment. Every human scientist is working on countermeasures. Every human engineer is developing improved versions of our own technology. The psychological impact on our hunters was complete. Warriors who had conquered planets were now hiding in human structures, terrified of civilians armed with improvised weapons. Our advanced bioarmor was useless against sonic disruptors built in garages. Our sophisticated targeting systems were jammed by devices assembled from human entertainment equipment. Commander, came a desperate transmission from Hunter Captain Zeke Moore. Request immediate evacuation. The humans have surrounded our position with weapons we don't understand, tactics we can't counter, and they're coordinating their assault using our own communication systems against us. Commander Vel'tash stared at the tactical display showing human forces across the entire planet. Every red dot represented a human military unit equipped with reverse-engineered Keth'mori technology. Every blue dot showed civilian populations that had somehow weaponized their daily tools into anti-alien defenses. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "We are the superior species. We have the advanced technology. We are the hunters." "Sir," came the terrified reply, "I don't think we're the hunters anymore." Commander Vel'tash made the decision that would haunt him for the rest of his considerably shortened military career, a final, desperate assault on the human command center. If the Keth'mori were going to retreat in disgrace, they would at least demonstrate their superior fighting capabilities one last time. "All remaining hunters, converge on my position," he commanded through increasingly unreliable communication channels. "We end this with honor, as warriors should." 12 surviving hunters out of the original 300 responded to his call. The rest were either captured, incapacitated, or too terrified to leave their hiding places. The mighty Keth'mori hunting fleet had been reduced to a single squad of desperate aliens. They approached the human command center with everything they had left: plasma weapons, gravity hammers, bioarmor, and the accumulated rage of a species that had never experienced defeat. This would be their moment of redemption. Colonel Reeves was waiting for them. Not with overwhelming firepower, not with the reverse-engineered alien technology that had proven so devastating, but with a simple white flag and a small contingent of unarmed humans. The sight was so unexpected that Vel'tash actually stopped his advance. "Commander Vel'tash," she called out in perfect Keth'mori, "I believe we need to talk. There is nothing to discuss, human. You have humiliated the greatest hunters in the galaxy. We will have our revenge." "Actually," Reeves replied calmly, "I think you've learned something important about humanity. We don't want revenge. We want you to leave our planet and never return." The audacity was staggering. Here was a primitive human offering terms to superior alien warriors. But as Vel'tash looked around at the tactical situation, he realized the horrible truth. The humans had surrounded his position with weapons that could obliterate his entire squad. They could have destroyed him at any moment. Instead, they were offering him a way to retreat with dignity. "You could have killed us all," Vel'tash said slowly, comprehension dawning. "Yes," Reeves nodded. "But that's not who we are. You came here expecting to find prey. What you found was a species that fights only when threatened, but fights with everything we have. You've seen our capabilities. You know what we can do. The question is, are you smart enough to learn from this experience?" Dr. Vasquez stepped forward, holding a device that Vel'tash recognized as an improved version of their own quantum communication system. "We're uploading the complete technical specifications of your technology to your ship's database. Consider it a gift. But understand, we've also uploaded our improvements. If you ever threaten Earth again, we'll be ready." The psychological warfare was perfect. They were demonstrating both mercy and overwhelming strength simultaneously. They were showing Vel'tash that humanity could destroy the Keth'mori, but chose not to. "Return to your ship, Commander," Reeves said. "Tell your people what you learned here. Tell them that humanity is not prey. We're something much more dangerous." As Vel'tash's shuttle lifted off from Earth's surface, he transmitted his final report to the Keth'mori High Council. "Mission terminated. Recommend immediate reclassification of human species from Level 7 prey to Level 1 threat. Do not engage. Repeat, do not engage." The hunting fleet departed Earth's system with a speed that would have been embarrassing if anyone had been watching. They had come seeking easy prey and found something that would give them nightmares for generations. We had learned the most important lesson in the galaxy. Never underestimate a species that can turn a $30 garage project into a weapon of mass destruction. Never hunt a species that fights with both brilliant minds and unbreakable spirits. Never, ever hunt humans.